Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor.
Let's talk about that Thor Ragnarok trailer. So right now, Rotten Tomatoes is saying that everybody thinks Thor Ragnarok is awesome. The rating so far for Rotten Tomatoes is fantastic. I'll post it somewhere. But that being said, forget that. The hype is awesome. Some critics are saying it's the best, most zaniest, most fun Marvel movie. People are saying it's even better than Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1. I personally liked Volume 2. I thought it was great. It was good for different reasons. I personally believe that the film, this one, it looks crazy. It looks bananas. I personally like the original Shakespearean version. I really thought that the way that they did it worked for then, but now that they can just express themselves greatly, I think that this movie's gonna be great. I'm anxious to see what Loki does. I'm anxious to see the Loki and Hulk reunion. I'm anxious to find out what happened to Odin, and I think Loki's probably thinking he's been doing a good job on the throne, and probably hadn't realized that Odin was probably doing a lot more stuff behind the scenes that he wasn't aware of. I'm gonna go ahead and say
another.
That I think there might be a presence of some Infinity Stones. Man in the purple chair. I really hope that from now on we'll see, other Avengers hanging out with some other friends from work and whatnot. I think that looks awesome. I'm gonna probably switch it up, and the video probably have already played in this one, so I'm probably gonna just go ahead and play the teaser first. Maybe I'll do it that way. Maybe I'll do the trailer, and then afterwards, there it is. So, just gonna put that down. It's going bye-bye. So in Thor's Ragnarok, this thing's basically just gonna give you the impression of how badass Hela's gonna be. So, it's a good little metric, because, it automatically made people trust the Vision in Age of Ultron, so it's a good plot device. So we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure he'll probably get a different weapon in Infinity War, and then probably see the return of Mjolnir in Avengers 4, which hasn't been titled, but maybe it could be looking at Secret Wars or something. I really hope they find a way to bring the X-Men into that universe after the fact. So we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely going to say that I think, for the most part, I think Loki thinks he's the good guy here. I think I don't think really Loki's gonna get too much of redemption, so to speak, in Thor Ragnarok, because it's not really probably gonna play into that type of storyline, but I definitely think he will have his redemptive arc in Infinity War. So I'm thinking that Asgard's gonna get destroyed, Thor's gonna get cast out. I'm pretty much the Ragnarok is gonna be the Winter Soldier, is what I've heard anyway, of Phase 3. So basically it's gonna change how we look at the Marvel Universe. It's going to leave everybody pretty vulnerable. So that being said, I'm thinking Doctor Strange is going to play a part in it. There's going to be a couple other things. This movie's going to be really super weird and awesome. And I think that Loki was playing a long con in the beginning, and now he's kind of reacting because, the whole Thanos thing is coming. So I think Thanos is going to get his hands on the Tesseract, probably, maybe even in this film, because he's going to have to get his hands on it at some point, so it could happen at the very beginning of Infinity War, but maybe that's what causes the damage in this film. I think that Hela is playing, because they've really hyped up the goddess of death thing, whereas Thor, they've never really called him a god. They just kind of refer to it as a passing thing, whereas she is specifically hyping up the goddess of death thing. So I think that she is going to be taking the place of death in the comics, because it's Cate Blanchett, so I can't imagine her not being in Infinity War, but I have to check on the cast and see if that's true, but I would imagine that she is probably the reason that Thanos is doing what he's doing, because in the comics he's in love with death, and he was looking to balance the universe in an effort to appease death and win her affection. So maybe that's Cate Blanchett, which would be really awesome. And if that's the case, there's a lot more depth to this story, and I think it's really good. In Infinity War, I think Thanos is essentially going to be seen as the main character, which in a way you could look at Loki in Avengers as the main character. So I think that's going to be pretty good. And I think Loki is probably going to somewhat be if not the main catalyst towards heroism. So basically, the Avengers won't necessarily win on their own. It'll be some sort of thing that Loki helped them do. I imagine he'll probably be taking the place of, who was it? It was Mephisto in the original Infinity War storyline. So I think he'll probably be taking Mephisto's place because we don't really have that. And Loki he's the trickster. It just seems like that would work. So I think Loki made a bad deal and figured he was staving off the deal and he was just making bad choices. And so I think now he's got to come to terms with those choices. And I think he's probably just going to do the right thing at this point. But it's probably going to cost him his life. Or, he makes a deal and it's going to cost Thor his life. I kind of feel like I thought he was going to get it in Age of Ultron. And then, I thought Thor Ragnarok for sure he's going to get it. But no, I mean, he's going to be in Infinity War. So no, I think Infinity War Thor's going to get it. It's probably going to be the main Avengers who are going to die. It's probably going to be to the extent that, Iron Man finally does his thing. Thor gets it. The Hulk's, that would set a precedent. The Hulk died. Like, the Incredible Hulk is dead. So I kind of feel like the original Avengers are going to die. The whole Hawkeye dying thing has been hinted. They played around with it for a while. Now it could actually come to fruition. Black Widow might survive. She'd probably be the only one of the original that survives. I think Vision's definitely going to die because they got to get their hands on that stone. And, I mean, I'm pretty much going with that. So we'll see how things play out, but those are my theories. If you don't like them, comment. If you didn't like them, you probably aren't watching this anyway. So if you don't know, now you know. There's a problem. This needs to be full. No? There's nobody here. Huzzah!
You're no match for the mighty!